Just this year, I'm teaching math, when a young lady raises her hand and she says, "No offense, Mr. Dix, but," and before I even tell you what she says after that, let's just think about that sentence. "No offense, Mr. Dix, but." The word but, it's an interesting word. It's essentially a negator. What it means is, everything I just said is not true. It's a conjunction, or not, you don't know that either. It is. It's a conjunction that combines two clauses or two sentences that are usually in opposition and make them untrue. So for example, "No, honey, I don't find your sister attractive, but," right, or, "I know I said that I checked your parachute before we jumped out of the plane, but..." Or the most painful one of all, which is simply, "I know I told you that I loved you, but..." So this girl in the middle of math class raises her hand and says to me, "No offense, Mr. Dix, but of all the people in the world, why would your wife choose you?" In math class. And the worst thing is, she's not wrong. I walk through this earth every day and I can catalog numerous people who would make better spouses than me. Even here tonight, this guy is better looking than me, and I am confident that every day of his life, he dresses better than me. Absolutely. And this gentleman here, there's no way he sends emails into the future to make children feel bad about something that they said that was kind of sweet. And this guy right here, I mean, he's average. Maybe average, but he's better than me. He was probably better spousal material than I am. So when this girl says this, it sort of hits me right here. And I have to answer her question, because I'm a teacher. And I know the answer. Why does Alicia Green choose Matthew Dix? It's one thing only: proximity. It's actually a math equation. It's proximity plus time equals love. My wife and I used to teach at the same school, and that's where we met. Our classrooms were 38 feet apart. And we taught together for 18 months before we began dating. 18 months. She walked by my classroom a minimum of 12 times a day. Let's do the math. Ready? 18 months of teaching is 270 school days times at least 12 times that we walked by each other. Let's do the math together. 7 times 2 is 14. We're gonna do a 5 there, a 7. We're gonna do a 2. It comes out to, if I did it right, I have done this before, it's 3,240. 3,240 times I walked by Alicia, or she walked by me, before one day she looked into my classroom and said, maybe. No offense, but is a terrible moment for me, because that student is absolutely correct.